Am I the idiot for cutting off my parents after they lied to me about my allergies all my life? Hey everyone, I am 19 years old and my parents are in their 52nds. For as long as I can remember, I have been allergic to several things: dairy, wheat, flour, gluten, and legumes. Since I was a young child, my parents have completely kept all of them out of our house. While other kids ate breakfast cereals, I ate fish and assorted pickled vegetables for breakfast. While other kids had Lunchables, I had grilled chicken or fish with, again, assorted vegetables, usually sweet potatoes. While other kids ate birthday cake at the birthday party, I had an apple. I never questioned this until a couple of months ago. I was at my aunt's house for my birthday party, and she made brownies for everyone. For me, she took great steps to make them with almond flour and avoided all of my allergies. I started eating them and thought little of it until my aunt suddenly looked at me and, in a panicked way, asked which plate I took the brownies from. I pointed from the one where I got my brownies, and she immediately stood up and told me we had to get my EpiPen. She raced to ask my mother for it, and I sat there scared out of my mind because I had never mistakenly eaten flour before. I noticed my mother had calmed her down, and then she said that we don't have to worry because she had switched the plates of brownies, and after all I had eaten the ones made with almond flour. I found this incredibly odd because, really, why would she swap the plates? That doesn't even make sense. But for the time being I let the issue rest. It didn't sit well with me for about a week and I finally went to get an allergy test. The doctor started with a skin prick test, and lo and behold, I didn't react to any of the above substances. Then he ordered a blood test, and when the results came in, they said that I had absolutely no intolerance to any of the foods I'm supposed to be allergic to. I was furious and called my mother. She eventually admitted that she lied to me because she wanted me to be on a Paleolithic diet, and wanted me to be able to avoid all temptations. She raised me with a lie about her own health, but she keeps insisting that I try to see it from her perspective. She spams my phone with messages about how healthy I am, that I never had acne, that I have been in great shape my whole life, that I have strong teeth and bones, and even that I got onto a D1 college tennis team. She has started calling me ungrateful for her intervention and insisting that I really should be glad I never got carb addicted. I don't know what to think. I carried around an EpiPen for all those years, one that I suspect may be fake seeing as my mother never got me to replace it, and I don't even know anymore. Am I the idiot and an ungrateful son for losing it over this? Not the idiot. You spent your entire life thinking that you could easily die because your mom wanted you on a special diet. Allergies are incredibly serious, and while you can grow out of them, to be lied to is unnecessary. What your mom did was manipulative and poor parenting. She easily could have had you on a diet like that without lying and making you fear for your life. Update. Perhaps against my better judgment, I decided that I would reopen a line of communication with my mother. I know this was not recommended by anyone in the post at all, but I just decided that I really wanted to have a relationship with her. I wanted her to see why what she did was so incredibly wrong and crossed so many lines, on top of wanting to be her son again. I texted her a few days after I made my original post and told her that I was willing to talk if she did not say anything until I had my say. Didn't gaslight me into thinking what she was doing was right, and truly considered my perspective. She agreed instantly. We set up a video chat at that point, where I explained many of the wonderful points people in this community brought up in my original post. What if I had really accidentally taken in one of the foods I was supposed to be allergic to? Absurdly irresponsible of her. Did she ever stop to consider that I, sitting there at another kid's birthday party chowing down on a freaking apple while the other kids ate cake, might just feel out of place? Inconsiderate. How could she have the nerve to suggest that my hard work and having a goddamn tennis racket practically glued to my hand since I was 4 was the reason why I'm such a successful athlete? But rather it was because I didn't eat gluten. Dismissive of my accomplishments. How could she have lied not only to me, but to our family as well? Dishonest. Why didn't she just talk to me instead of raising me on a lie? Underhanded. By the end of my rehearsed talk, my mother was straight up ugly crying. This was not exactly what I expected, but she apologized and said that she had been terrible. It was a huge leap from her previous response to my indignation. She told me everything I said was right, and asked if I would listen to her reason why she did so. Before I was born, my mother had a much older brother. I knew about him, but never heard specifics on what happened to him. Apparently, he basically ate himself to death. He was so obese and food addicted that he was beyond help. He passed away when my mother was pregnant with me. They were close. It had a huge effect on her. She rationalized that lying would be better for me. When I brought up the fact that she didn't lie once, but for my entire life, she acknowledged that she truly had no excuse. This did not give me complete closure, but at least I got it. I am talking to my mother and father again. My father also apologized, although he has tried to maintain that he was more of an accomplice who tried to talk her out of it. That's another fight for another day. You're the idiot. Your parents were only looking out for you and they spent years of hard work restricting your diet as well as their own. Now you found out the truth and are going to throw all that hard work away. Disappointing. Not the idiot. It's good you decided to try and get closure. After all, the worst that could have happened was just returning to no contact and having that anger to work out all over again. This way you've gotten contact back and worked toward recovery together. What would you do if your parents did something like this? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for snapping at my mom and running away from home, leaving my parents worrying with no knowledge of where I am and if I'm safe for 3 days? I know it sounds bad, but bear with me. My parents, 45, female, male 44, and I, female 17, have a complicated, strained sort of relationship where they only pay me attention when I'm in a life-threatening situation, or when I act out. I never really thought they cared about me, and ran away from home following a heated argument with my mom where she thought I was out when I wasn't. I was actually hanging out in the yard. and reacted badly. I was already stressed, and so when she exploded and started to yell at me without trying to let me have a word and to explain the misunderstanding, I behaved like a brat, I'll admit now, and snapped that it's not like she cared what I was up to, that I wish I'd get out of this miserable shithole and that I don't have to wait long for that to happen. She lost it and blew up on me, telling me that I was a disgrace, that she regrets the day I was born, that she wouldn't hold me back if I tried to leave, and that she'd be glad to see the back of me. Basically, confirming what I thought she felt towards me. I told her that if that's her wish, then I want nothing to do with her, too. I think she tried to stop me from leaving because she tried to grab my arm, but I was out of her reach and ran off to my neighbor's house before she could catch me, as it was dark. She didn't see where I went off to. Even though I felt guilty about what I said and because I knew the level of criticism they'd face at our family's hand for not reining me in, I admit I felt it was justified, and that I was preempting them. I didn't try to contact them, because I wanted to see how all this would play out, mainly if I would be welcomed back if I ever returned and not turned to the street. I got cold feet a couple of times while trying to call them, and ultimately decided to leave it until a couple of days have passed so that they can cool off, which I guess I shouldn't have done, but I didn't count on my parents actually worrying about where I was, if I was safe. Turns out, they do care about me. Dad came to take me home the moment he realized where I was, and we had a row about the stunt I pulled and how childish it was. I felt like an off for going no contact after realizing just how deep his and her worry ran. Someone told me that it was weird that I felt entitled to my parents' love and attention, and that everything I did was to cause unnecessary drama, which got me thinking that my behavior is not normal. I'm not proud of what I did. I really feel bad. It was a spur-of-the-moment decision that I took under stress because I genuinely thought that my mother wanted me gone. But I'm feeling conflicted because although my friends are on my side, my extended family think I behaved like a cowardly idiot who broke her parents' hearts on a whim. This image I built of my cold, neglectful, and emotionally distant parents has been destroyed now, and I'm left feeling like the ungrateful brat they've always taught me to be. So, Reddit, am I the idiot? Everyone sucks here. Firstly, your parents shouldn't have neglected you like they did, but it doesn't mean they don't care about you. On the other hand, what you did was just stupid. You shouldn't have just ran away when you know you're literally incapable of being financially independent. Like sitting in your room or something. Not the idiot. Running away is not a good idea, and I don't encourage you doing that, but I understand why you did it. You were feeling unloved and like you didn't matter. Go no contact as soon as you can, and try to get therapy. I'm so sorry you're going through this, and if you ever need to chat, my inbox is always open. Update. I spoke to my parents about starting therapy. As predicted, they weren't too impressed with the idea, but the moment I said that getting professional help would ensure nothing like that would happen again, they started considering it. I think that the idea that I might run away from them again pretty much sealed the deal. We had our first session yesterday. I'm still shaken over it. Surprisingly, Mum, who's been more snappish about the whole therapy business, it's unseemly, Opus, was the first to open up. It took some probing, of course, but I don't think I've ever heard her talk so much. She's sorry about what she said and did. Apparently, from what the therapist concluded, she has some unresolved trauma they'd need to work on concerning me getting lost at 9 years old. Forgot about that. She admitted she constantly feared it'd happen again, and when she didn't find me in her room, she feared the worst. I have the habit of texting her my exact whereabouts, something I promised to do when I was 14 to get her off my back, but I never realized she read all the messages and called my friends' parents to be sure I'm safe. I apologized for snapping at her and disappearing for 3 days, but I can see that they still don't trust me not to bolt. They said that they still have nightmares over it happening, which explains why they come to check on me in the middle of the night, and I feel so bad. But we're working on it. I'll spare you the details, because trust me, there's a lot. But what stayed with me is Dad recounting a conversation we had about my friends and how I told him that they, at least, understood and liked me. His answer at the time was that he found neither to be important, and he apologized for it now, for how little he had understood back then. Another thing was Mum saying that she didn't know how to be gentle and how she struggles to act on her maternal instincts without coming off as overbearing. We unloaded a whole set of insecurities about how she wasn't permitted to be as doting and loving as she would have wanted because of my grandparents' involvement, how Dad felt my acting out was me trying to free myself of them, and a lot of stuff I couldn't possibly type with a 3,000 character limit. Therapist's train of thought is that with the way they were raised and how the family acts, it's not surprising that their parenting tactics focus more on dominating me rather than being emotionally available, like I need. We finished the session with them telling me how much they love me and how proud they are of me, which tears me up even now. So everything is good. We're working on our relationship. It's a slow process and takes a lot of patience, but it's worth it and we're already seeing results. So thank you, all of you. A lot, really, not the idiot. I spent the last 20 years of my life thinking my mom secretly hated me and I was a burden to her. I had a heart-to-heart with her 4 days ago, this past Sunday, and started to unload and fill in the pieces of what I didn't know from before my parents divorced. It turns out that she loves me so much and was doing what she could to protect me and my siblings from my father's physical abuse. To spare some more gritty details, we cried it out, and I'm genuinely looking forward to hearing from my trauma with her and forming a stronger relationship than I could have ever hoped for. Trauma fucks you up as a person, but not forever. I wish you the best of luck with working through everything with your parents. I'm glad you were able to get into therapy. No idiots here. This made me really happy. I'm so glad things are going better and therapy is helping. It sounds like they really love you and want to be good parents. But they're people with their own flaws and don't always do the right thing. but you're doing so well. Even if you do act up sometimes as most teenagers do, it sounds like you're pretty mature and willing to own up to your mistakes and work to make things better. It sounds like you're on a great path. Do you blame her or her parents? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for contacting my estranged sister? I, female 17, have an older sister, female 22. My parents had her when they were teenagers and they have never been good to her. They are good to me. They both screamed at her for everything and they both pressured her a lot. She was a model, so mom was obsessed with her looks and what she ate. Dad constantly pressured her with school. I was not good either. I was always ruining her stuff, even expensive ones. I would scream at her. I made fun of everything she liked. My parents encouraged it. My sister was always good to me. She would make sure I eat healthy and help with homework, even when she was sick or tired. She'd stay with me when mom and dad had fights as I would get scared. She took the blame for everything I always did, but it was hard. And the relationship with my parents got really bad after they blamed her for something awful, so she left a while later when she became an adult. Things weren't okay between us either, but she told me to contact her if necessary. She is now very successful, travels a lot, has money, a nice boyfriend, friends and fans. She had always wanted a sister and I know she had asked for one for Christmas and for her birthday before I was born. Whenever we saw sisters in movies or stuff, she would say it was us. I constantly told her that she wasn't my sister. Well, our parents had a baby recently, a girl. They had couples therapy the past years and are okay now. I spent months thinking, but I decided to contact her, apologize and tell her everything. She was furious. Literally for the first time ever she screamed at me and said lots of real mean stuff, then said I should not have told her anything. I'm confused. We sucked. I know that, but was I really bad in contacting her for this? I feel like it was important. You're the idiot. Seriously, this is the reason you decided to call her years after she left the house. To tell her that your idiot parents decided to not only get therapy after they estranged their eldest daughter, and I'm assuming they never bothered to contact her after they seemingly got better, but they also decided to have another baby who is 95% meant to be a replacement for your sister. The last time she saw you, she asked you to contact her if you needed anything. Because despite how shitty you and your parents treated her, you are still her little sister, and she doesn't want you to end up on the streets. Aside from that, she would have been way more happy if you just left her alone and didn't bother to tell her such things. Update. I did contact my sister again as I was planning on visiting her city with my best friend's family and if she wanted to talk. She replied days later and I saw her. I had to swear not to tell our parents and I would not go to her place. Everyone was right. I was an idiot, but also I was stupid. I didn't think things right. My sister told me that when I called her she was already in a bad mood as she was really sick and needed to be okay for the next day, so me calling her kind of made everything worse and stressed her more. She apologized for screaming. Like you all told me. It made her feel like everything got better because she left, which was not my intention, but I see it now. Our baby sister also has a close birthday to her, so it obviously feels like a replacement even if my intention was not that when telling her. She asked if I understood how bad what mom and dad told her the last time they saw her was, and I had never really sat and thought about that until that day. I now don't really know what to do when I think about them. She is not in therapy and more due to a real bad experience, but she has two things, PTSD and BPD. I think, but also has now a bit of an okay relationship with food and other stuff. She says everything is under control. She told me how she already had a sister before the baby, me. How she felt super jealous when she saw her friends with their sisters. How she has a hard time when her favorite singer posts about her sister. And about how she feels embarrassed that she never has family go watch her or support her at work while everyone else does. Her boyfriend and friends are amazing, but she feels really alone. She asked about my life but asked me not to mention our parents. She asked to see our baby sister, so I showed her a few videos. It was really hard and I felt super guilty. We talked for a few hours. Everyone around here was right and I should have known better. She says she was never really mad at me. She gave me her assistant's number and told me to only call in real emergencies. If I'm sick, I have no place to live, I need food or stuff for school, or if our sister needs something. But to please never contact her directly ever again and to not tell our parents. She said when I turn 18, if they know anything, I will get in trouble. I was expecting maybe she would call me for Christmas, but she didn't, which is fine, I don't deserve it. On her Instagram it seems like she had a good time. There's more but character limits, so yeah, that's the update. I guess everything is okay. No idiots here. Wow. After reading the original post it seems very clear that both of you are victims of your abusive parents. Both of you still have huge amounts of trauma to work through. You didn't contact her with anything but good intentions. She's not ready. I hope after more time goes by, you can have a healthier relationship. In the meantime, focus on your own healing, not the idiot. I'm glad you reconnected. I am sad she never wants to hear from you again as the bond between sisters is so important. I understand how easy it is to make mistakes, be selfish and not recognize how what your parents said hurt her to the core. I hope you are never without food, shelter or stuff for school. I don't think it was right for her to threaten you with an NDA if your parents find out. Possibly a lawsuit, but I understand her need for privacy.